our chili, which is going to be absolutely amazing. I tried this recipe before. Early one morning, I wake up around 4:30, 5 o'clock each morning to get ready for work. So I got up. I normally do a workout, but I, didn't feel like it that morning. So I said, well, let me get dinner together. So I went ahead and did my mise en place. I got my meat ground. I threw everything in the crock pot. Then I went in the shower, got ready for work, left, came back. Dinner was ready and done. I do not eat my chili with too many carbs. You can make it with cornbread. You can put it over rice, or you could just eat it by itself, almost as a soup in a way, because it is hearty because you have your meat, your vegetables, and then you have your beans. And I usually use black beans in my chili. A lot of people use kidney beans in their chili, but I personally prefer black beans in my chili. I just like the earthiness of a black bean over the red kidney bean, which has a different flavor. It's more of a acidic iron flavor to it, which is really good. But it's all in your preference. So you can use any type of bean that you want to put in your chili. So that's almost done. I'm gonna continue mincing my garlic, and that looks like it's almost totally minced to the size that I want it to be. And then my ground meat is just about cooked all the way through. And I'm gonna taste my ground meat just so that I know how much more salt I will or will not put in it, because as I put other ingredients and flavors and everything, I don't want to over salt it if the meat already has some flavor in it. So I have my garlic all minced, which is wonderful. The garlic has some salt in it as well. And you don't want your food to be too salty. But you also, it's hard to salt it when it's done as well, or season it when it's done as well, because then the seasoning is just on top of it and it's not actually into it. So it looks like this needs a little bit more browning, not too much, but a little bit more, because I want it to have a deep brown flavor. So I add another teaspoon. I'm gonna mix this in really well. And also this browning is gonna spread out throughout the chili, but I'm also gonna add some other ingredients to make the chili have a nice strong depth of flavor. This seems a little plain, which is fine, but as you layer these flavors, it's gonna be absolutely amazing. So I have this all ground up. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn this off. I'm going to grab the pan. I'm gonna see if I can dump this into the crock pot all at once without spilling. Let's see, it's kind of a wide face, so that's good. Yep, so I got it all in there. So now I'm going to put this here. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and start layering my flavors and adding more seasoning. So what I'm gonna first do is I'm gonna first taste my ground meat. So that's what you wanna do. So let's see, this has some flavor to it. Yes. It has enough flavor where you could add more salt, but not too much. And the browning really helps. So the first thing that I do is I have some tomato puree. So this tomato puree is homemade. I had some fresh tomatoes from the garden. Linda, thank you very much for giving me tomatoes from your wonderful garden in West Virginia. I took them, put in a food processor to a tomato puree, so they're fresh tomatoes and not canned tomatoes. It's nice and fresh. So I take these and pour over. And what I do is get tomatoes and I'll freeze them. And so then they last longer. So I'm gonna take that. It's still a little frozen, but that's fine. It'll break down as I cook this. I'll turn my burner back on now. Get this all melded together. As you see, I'm doing this unfiltered so that you can see in the kitchen anything can happen, and you can go ahead and continue to make your dish. So I have my tomato puree in there. I'm gonna start adding my veggies, which is my peppers. And as I said, I did a mise en place earlier. I did a show on mise en place before, so you can go ahead and check out my YouTube channel or my blog and see how I did my mise en place. I'll do another show on mise en place definitely in the future. And mise en place, quite a few different vegetables, especially this fall when vegetables, fall vegetables are abundant. And mise en place is a really big deal because you need to really prepare ahead of time for a lot of the fall type meals, especially Thanksgiving, which those meals can take the longest, and you don't want to be in the kitchen when your guests are in. So I have all my peppers, I have my onion, and I'm gonna go ahead and start seasoning. So I have salt. All right. I have pepper, and that's about a teaspoon of salt. Have a teaspoon of black pepper. Teaspoon of dry jerk seasoning. A tablespoon of chili powder. And this is regular chili powder. And then a teaspoon of ancho chili powder. And then I have a chili kit, which has all of your chili seasonings. This is kind of my cheat to add that layer of flavor without going back and forth, tasting and tasting and tasting. So I have this, and I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. Put this right in. And this has all of your cumin and your chili and your all your different pepper in it, your oregano and things like that. So I have that. I have some Goya Sazon. You can always use this for soup, stews. I put this in my collard greens. It just adds that extra flavor, and it doesn't have any salt in it. It just has flavor, so that's really good. So I have all that, and then I have some secret ingredients. So I'm gonna add those. Let me grab my cumin really quick, and then I'll begin to layer the rest of those flavors, mix this up really well, and then put it in a crock pot. So let me grab my cumin. And let's see, where did I put it? Right here. All right, so I have my cumin. So I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of cumin. And then one of the secret ingredients is spiced coffee, spiced ground coffee. So this has coffee, black pepper, cumin, alderwood, smoked salt, brown sugar, cocoa, mustard, coriander, and chipotle in it. So this has lots of depth of flavor. Now this is gonna give it, the chili, a very earthy taste to it. And as it cooks through, it's not gonna taste like coffee. It's not gonna be anything like that, but this is gonna add a depth of flavor. So I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of that in there. It's absolutely delicious. I did test this recipe out before, and it was like absolutely amazing. Now, this chili kit has other items in it. It does have a cayenne pepper, and it has a masa. So the masa I put in at the end to see how thick it is. If it's not super thick, I save the masa layer for another super stew. And then the cayenne pepper I do put in there because I like it spicy, and I know that with the peppers that are in there, it's gonna be spicy, but I like it really spicy. It is getting cooler out, it is fall, and why not have something spicy? And also, as they cook for hours and hours, the spice does meld down. Now this is optional, you do not have to put this in there, but I like putting this cayenne in there. So it gives it another layer of a pepper flavor because of the cayenne. So I have all of that. I'm gonna go ahead and get this stirred because this is starting to boil. And what's wonderful about this type of crock pot is you can start this on the stove top and then put this inside the crock pot, which is absolutely amazing. I love it. It smells amazing. It smells like chili in here already. So it's gonna be absolutely wonderful. And you're really gonna want this to cook all day long. So this is a great Sunday dinner meal. You know, we are having a lot going on in our house with construction, everything. So I didn't wanna, you know, do a lot of all day cooking and everything because there's so many other things to tend to. So I said, you know, let me make a pot of chili, you know? It's absolutely wonderful. So I have that, and then I do not put water in my chili ever. I always put beer. So I'm putting 2 bottles of beer in my chili. It's amazing. And don't worry if you do not drink alcohol, that is fine. The alcohol will cook off, so I would not fret at all.
What kind of beer do you use?
What I use is I use a light lager beer. You can use a darker beer, but I like using a light lager beer just because the chili already has a depth of flavor with all the seasonings and everything. So I like to use a light lager. It cooks down better. It has a light burn temperature to it, and so I like to go ahead and use a lager type beer. Now I have all of that in there. Now I can go ahead and add my garlic, and this is quite a bit of garlic, but I'm gonna add all my garlic. And this is going to really round out the flavors in this chili. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this all stirred in. And it looks absolutely amazing. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I'm gonna bend this over so you can see how that looks. It's amazing. So it looks wonderful. And as this cooks down, it's gonna get thicker. And if, you know, it's not to a thickness that I'm expecting, I will add the masa to it. But this is all you need to do. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and give a taste of this. Put it in the crock container. Let it cook all day. You can cook it on high for 3 hours or low for 6 hours. So let me taste this really quick. Perfect. So I can't taste all the heat as the peppers will break down, the jalapenos will break down, and everything will break down in here. So it will get hotter, but also it'll meld out the actual flavors. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the crock pot. Now, 30 minutes before this is completely done, you wanna take a can of black beans, you put that in there, and if you wanna take some corn to add another layer, you can take frozen corn or corn off the cob. If it's frozen corn, I'll take half a bag, put it in there, and just 1 can of black beans. You can put all the black beans in there without rinsing it, or you can rinse them off and put them in there. I don't rinse them just because of the extra thickness within the can actually thickens up the chili. So that's what I do. The actual flavors are perfect now. I don't need to add any more salt, any more seasoning, or anything like that. Just add the corn and the black beans at the end. Once again, you serve this over cornbread. So let me go ahead and put this in over here. All right, and then I have it set. And then I'm gonna turn my burner off. Then all you do is you cover it, and that is it. You go ahead and I'm gonna go do a cleanup. I'll come back to the finishing touches a little bit later this afternoon. But thank you for joining me in my kitchen. This is CR Chili 101. The recipe will be posted on my blog at www.adeliciousexperience.com or on my YouTube channel, which is A Culinary Diva. Thank you.